Hi everyone, my name is Christopher Kinney. I have signed up to discuss content management systems. I actually chose this topic because I have worked with them before and they are a little bit familiar with me. It's been a few years, but um, I suspect they probably haven't changed too much. And after taking a look at a couple online, such as Wix, which I will be demonstrating at the end a little bit of, it hasn't changed too much aside from that the user interface is a little bit different. So let's go ahead and start discussing what these are and how they work. So a content management system usually is abbreviated to CMS. It's a bit of a mouthful saying content management system over and over again, but essentially it is a computer software designed to allow multiple users to collaborate on the creation, modification, production, deletion, just pretty much anything that involves uh, updating or publishing a website of digital content. I have a couple examples, WordPress and Squarespace right there. Some of the more popular, well-known ones. So there are two types of CMSs. There's the local installation, where it is installed directly to your server or computer. Some of the a benefit of that is you do get increased flexibility when you have an installation like that. There are generally more features, and some of those of which we'll go over. But Joomla is an example of one that can be installed directly to your computer um, and is quite powerful. The second type is cloud-based. Those are pretty much only on the internet. They're hosted on the vendor environment. So Wix, for example, you'd go to wix.com and everything that you do will be done on their website. You upload your pictures to their website and essentially create like a little library and stuff like that. So one of the kind of restrictions with that though is it can't be modified. You pretty much have the features that are available to you and that really can't be changed whenever everyone has it, as long as they're paying for the same package. So a little less freedom there, but you do have access to it anywhere that you have an internet connection. So that is a definite benefit in comparison to having it locally installed. So you would have to be carrying your laptop or computer with you pretty much everywhere you go if you wanted to continue working on it. Um, as I mentioned, here's a few examples. Local installation, we've got WordPress.org. That's definitely the most popular one and the most commonly one used. If you've been working with computers at all, you pretty much have to be living under a rock not to have heard of WordPress. Drupal, Joomla, Modx, and Grav are also some examples of the more common used CMSs. And I apparently have a typo right there, so I apologize. Um, and then a couple examples of cloud-based. We have Squarespace, which I mentioned before. Another WordPress, this one WordPress.com. So it is the same company as WordPress.org, just being cloud-based rather than installation, and probably contributes to why WordPress owns so much of the market share, which we'll go over again later. Webflow, Wix. Wix I will be showing a little bit of later at the end. HubSpot, I actually used to work with HubSpot when at a previous job. Um, that and the software I used would integrate with HubSpot. Pretty good piece of software. And then Duda, which I had not actually heard of before. So every content management system has two parts. There's the CMA, which is the content management application. This is pretty much everything that you see as the user. It's the front end user interface, the graphic user interface, everything that is presented to you as the consumer. This is where you'll be creating, modifying, updating, uh, adding content, removing content, and making the website essentially what it is that you want. Generally, they are pretty simple. I When I went back into Wix, it had been about 5 or 6 years since I had really approached it, and um, as much as I'm not fluent, it was pretty easy to pick up, and that's something that they all strive for. Um, the backend component of the um, CMS is the CDA, the content delivery application. This is everything that's happening in the back end. So all the code and all of the modifications you make, all of that gets compiled and updates on the website automatically, which is pretty crazy to really think about because as we go through this class and we learn about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and its uses, it's pretty crazy that a lot of that can be automated to such a degree. So some of the important features that are generally requested of the CMS is content management. Obviously, it's part of the name, but essentially, how easy is it to use? As I mentioned, they want someone who really doesn't have a lot of experience in it to be able to use it and produce something of actual value. Presentation, the automation of site formats. So that's going to be, like I mentioned, whenever you're making modifications, how easy is it to modify and not how few bugs are there going to be when after you make those modifications and upload. Integration, so API capabilities. Um, you know, being able to integrate with multiple other softwares, especially if you're something like a business, is absolutely critical. Being able to integrate to e-commerce, to maybe a CRM, a resource management tool, um, just infinite possibilities. And moving on with that, we're looking at commerce. Can they connect to things like Square? Um, Visa, can you do transactions, particularly for a business where you're selling things online, things like Amazon and eBay and so on? It's pretty much a mandatory feature. Analytics. Analytics are also going to be critical um, to the success of any business, or if you're writing a blog, it's really nice to see how many people are clicking, how many people are reading, how long are they staying on your site. Multilingual support. We have a very diverse country, and let alone the fact that the internet is global. So you're going to want to have the ability to have your site translated into multiple different languages and published globally. Scalability. When you're looking at um, a business or a blog or pretty much anything you'd use a site for, as you grow, you want it to be able to grow with you. That was something that I had experienced also with HubSpot. Was it can be as small as you need it, or it can be as large as you need it, just depending on exactly what your needs are. It's really up to the creative mind. Vendor support. This to me was one of the biggest things when I was looking at Wix. Is there how with because of the ease of use, is there going to be additional training? A lot of places like WordPress offer additional classes to learn more, um, and to teach you how to use like our knowledge. The being able to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript can be utilized in using a content management system. As I mentioned, just a couple of examples of the most popular. WordPress takes number one, owns approximately 62% of the market, which is absolutely uncanny. They host over 27 million websites. They have a free option, which is very basic, but you can pay for things like having your own domain, so it doesn't say, your name.wordpress.com. You can have it be whatever you need. A lot of customization, huge community and forum, and as I mentioned, this WordPress provides classes and additional education and huge amounts of documentation. Joomla, this one is second place based on the research that I was looking at, and look at only 4.7% market share. That's huge. in comparison to something like WordPress, but still 1.6 million plus websites. They are free and open source, and they do have the multi-language capability. And I'm just going to kind of zip along here. But these are some of the major sites that use this, and so like you can visit. I definitely recommend visiting some of these sites and taking a look at just the sheer power of a content management system. You really wouldn't sometimes even realize that it was all created um, using like just a simple interface rather than a huge amount of custom code. And here are my references. But as I mentioned, I wanted to show a bit of a demonstration as to um, uh, as to an example. So this is something that I put together, and I think about 15 minutes a long time ago. But as I had mentioned, it's really simple in that menus and pages. I can create additional pages here. Site menu. I can modify things, add just another. Like there's different services in here that it already comes with like a pre-built template as to what I can add. Something else here. So I have my header. Let me close this. I can go into settings. I can have it scroll with the site. I can have it freeze. And have it disappear. And I'm not saving these changes, but it's just a simple clicks like this. I don't have the ability to. I don't want to publish it because it's obviously not really built out. Um, but I can click on this, quick edit, zoom out. I can change my background. I can upload images and upload from the stuff that Wix has or whatnot, or I can upload my own, change my text, and overall change the entire layout right here as that takes a second to load. But yeah, it's really all pretty insane how powerful this is. And it looks like this may have frozen a little bit, um, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting. This would have taken me probably a good couple hours to actually write out properly, whereas this, as I mentioned, took me maybe 10-15 minutes. But anyways, I hope you all learned something. If you have any questions, please add them into the discussion. Thank you.